I have two experiences to share. My first one, I was in this gaming tournament hall. It's the one I was in for the tournament last weekend. It's this big place, and there were lots of people there, just like in real life. I was walking through it, but I was already shapeshifted into that fluffy dragon that I'm so used to at this point. It was pretty normal. People around me were giving me looks, and some were staring at me, but no one really said anything, which was nice. I didn't really want to deal with that. So I was walking through this hall, and eventually it opened up into this bigger room, where there was a crowd of people blocking the middle. I tried to push through them, and in the middle of the room, I saw Phil. I wasn't super happy to see him, because he's been pretty annoying lately, but I walked up to him anyways. I was like, "Hey, what are you doing here?" He was all like, "I'm becoming more aware, like Duane said." And I was like, "Bro, you're just sucking up to Duane. You're not as aware as I am, and you know it." And he was all like, "Yes, I am," in this really annoying voice. Before I even realized what I was doing, I just like pounced him and started clawing at him. I was leaving like serious gashes in him. Oh right, I was leaving serious gashes in Phil's body.
Yeah, go ahead.
And I stopped clawing at him, and I just kind of stood there growling for a minute before I realized what I did, and then I stepped off. Phil kind of looked stunned at me for a minute before he got up, and then, no joke, he quickly tackled me to the ground and tried to pin me down. I tried to get back up, but I was really struggling because I'm not totally used to like being tackled while on four legs. So I wasn't really sure how to get up from that point when this big man was trying to pin me down. So I started trying to bite him because that was really all I could do. And he started hitting me in the neck and the wings, and that sucked. Though I'm sure he didn't really like the bites I was giving him either. Eventually he let go of me and he just ran off. I tried to chase after him through the halls, but I couldn't find him, and that's all I remember of that first experience.
You guys are funny, but we all go through this, okay? We all go through these funny things. And it's interesting, but it's interesting. So you look at the whole thing, all right? And it's kind of like, you know, when we were kids in school, all right? These little attitudes that we have. And it's understandable because that's the personal self, these little attitudes. And, you know, it's that, you know, here you are in this dragon body again. And in a way, you're exceptional because you're in this dragon body. And, you know, for the most part, people don't really notice because they don't see what you're going through with your real awareness. But you have this, you know, this is kind of your thing. Okay, so anyhow, yeah, so you find Phil, and the interesting thing is that Phil says, well, you know, I'm becoming more aware, etc., and you're just, etc., you're saying, well, you're just kissing up or what have you. Again, there's these little signs of jealousy or whatever. You want to focus on being a being of light. And this is going to take you your whole life. Okay, you just want to focus on that as a reference and look at the attitudes that you have about others. Remember, they are beings of light too. Everybody, I see everybody, they're on their way, good, bad, or indifferent. They want to become more aware, but most of the time they don't know it. Now you know somebody, you two know each other. Okay, I've seen this before. I have it on the Skype too.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, well, but you can get through it. You know, just like in school when we had little fights and the teacher comes along and says, break it up, shake hands, whatever. And eventually you become really good friends. So again, we want to take a look at the attitudes we have. And these things are of the personal self. It's not the real you. But these are little distractions that we actually create ourselves. Again, we've all gone through it. Certain things bug us or jealousies or whatever. I've seen it. I've seen it on the Skypes. I've heard people yelling at each other on the Skypes, okay? From different countries. They're in the same country and they're yelling at each other because they're jealous or they got attitudes or it's like your experience, you're not telling the truth or whatever. And, you know, I've heard it. All this stuff. So again, just look at the idea and the attitude there. And what Phil said is that, you know, I'm wanting to become more aware, like Duane is talking about, you know, focus on that. And then look what's taking place. Is it worth it? Just like you see in the movies, all of a sudden people have attitudes and they get in fist fights, they screw each other up. And the end result is what? Nothing. It just gets worse. And you carry that emotional bitterness, those one attitudes, you'll carry that for lifetimes. And that will keep you here. And you know, all that emotion and all those attitudes and ideas, they're unseen, aren't they? But you in your bubble head, you see them, you feel them.
Whoa. I do not have a big head. I have a big brain.
It's just a metaphor, big brain. So you carry that, okay? You're carrying that with you. Do you want to carry that? And I know it's going to take a while, but you see, when you keep comparing, like being like the sun, after a while you realize, I don't want to carry these things. I just want to be okay every moment. And you know what? I want to be like the sun. I want to shine and help others become more aware, because that's what life is. It's an endlessness of becoming more aware. Never ends. But here in the physical, in creation, we have confrontation. We have competition. We have egos. We have, you know, get ahead ideas, all these things that just keep you circulating to nowhere. To nowhere. Look at the reptilians. How do you think they got those bodies? Bad attitudes. They became friggin' creatures. And they're struggling to get through it too. Yeah.
I'm a good reptilian though, so what is that?
Well, it's a start. Remember, 50 years. So again, we're starting here, kids. So just like you're in first grade, you're starting. And just like, you know, Eric, you wanted to be the president. It's like when you go in the military and you want to be, it's like, oh, you know, I want to be the general. I want to be the commander. But you got to start off as a private, don't you? And you got to go through a lot of stuff, clean out the bathrooms, go to the motor pool, peel a lot of potatoes, whatever it is, run and jump and go out and crawl under machine gun fire. As a private, you got to do that first, don't you? Oh, yes, you do. You got to go through boot camp, and you got to see if you're going to make it, just even through boot camp. That's nothing compared to the Navy SEALs. Remember that movie, G.I. Jane, with Demi Moore? That's a good one to see. But anyhow, you got to go through the process to become the general. You don't just think that, you know, see, again, this is how you've been set up. You've been set up to think that, oh, all I have to do is think it and I'll just be it. Okay, so I'll be the general. I'll go down to the toy store and buy a general outfit and I'll just play the general. I'll be the general. Okay, you can do that. Okay. For so long until you flip out or whatever. But the thing is, you have to go through the process, don't you? General, corporal, sergeant, lieutenant, captain, so on, etc. You have to go through the process. That's what I was telling you about the presidency. Okay? You have to do certain things first. I was out in the public when I met Paul here in the physical. Rebazar kept prompting me to meet Paul, so I did, because Paul had set up Eckankar at the time, and that was a spiritual thing at the time. That's what I went through. And so I went out in the public for 30 years and did public lecturing. I did this all the time, set up things and whatever, and plus other things, taught in colleges, whatever, because this is what I love to do. And so I set the stage for what I'm doing now, creating the new presentation with the Real Universal Guides, all right? So they chose me to do it because I'm the one that did it way more than everybody else, and I would do it unlike everybody else in the old spiritual past and all that nonsense. So all that is gone. The days of masters and gurus is gone, okay? Even though you still see them there, they're just metaphors. They're dull. They don't know what they're doing. Yeah, it all sounds good and peaceful and whatever. Yeah, and that's fine. That's part of it, but that's not the whole picture. They don't recognize the true reality of all life is. beyond the gods that they relate to. And they worship and pray to gods, and that's all friggin' nonsense. Even the Dalai Lama and all them, they're all bought off by the reptilians. So your
The evil
experience,
reptilians, you mean?
good, bad, different, whatever. Okay, there's different degrees. So again, your experience here shows a strong attitude, and that's something that now you decide, and it's all okay. Remember, you guys are really okay. You are two beings of light. And you decide to be okay. It's like, you know what, Phil? It's all cool. See, and then now
No
you
way
can
in
joke.
hell.
I'm sorry I bit you or whacked you or whatever, Phil, but whatever. It's like, see, now you can joke about it because here you are in the physical. It was a dream sequence showing you that attitude, all right? But now it can be okay. You can be okay every moment. And what you do is you do it with humor, and you do it by being creative. See? And so when these attitudes come up, you giggle and laugh about them and you make jokes about them, like on Seinfeld. Okay, that's all. And you let it go because you know what? You really don't want to carry it. You don't want to have an attitude about anybody. But that takes practice. I know. And I have to practice too because I have little attitudes. They come and go. But overall, no, I'm not interested because, again, I don't want to carry it. I don't want to carry any ideas. I just like being aware. I don't need to think about anything. I don't need to know the future. I don't care because all life is an isness now. It's all complete in my real awareness. I know that. I have
You
awareness.
yelled at me earlier though. It really hurt my feelings.
No, you hurt your feelings, Duane, by interrupting. See, I didn't interrupt you. You interrupted me, and you hurt your own feelings. And no, everything's fine. It's always fine. When you're okay, we're all okay. So just be okay and mute.
Wait, you are Duane. Oh, you mean the other Duane, right? I forgot.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. Okay. No, everything's fine. Just be okay. You get that now? So take a look at that. You get that now?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Um,
right now, remember,
I mean, I hear you.
every moment is new. Okay. Every moment is new.